and welcome back to MANCINIMA. Unfortunately, Halloween's over. All the decor, all the Michael Myers, all the Jason Voorhees, Chucky, masks, everything that used to be around me, all the horror decors had to go because Halloween's finished with for another year. However, fear not, I do still have a horror thriller for you. We'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, can I ask you to do the usual for me, please? Can you just give me the thumbs up, like this video? You can unlike it afterwards if you don't like what I've had to say, but if you can give me the thumbs up for now so you don't forget at the end, that'll be great. I appreciate that. If you can subscribe to the channel, that'll be fantastic. Really appreciate that. There's loads on this channel which I'll hope you'll enjoy. Loads of different subjects. And if you can hit the notification bell, that'll be fantastic as well, because then you'll know when I've done another one of these videos. Okay, then let's crack on. So, like I said, I've got a bit of a horror thriller for you, and this film is called Watcher, not to be confused with the TV series The Watcher. This film stars Maika Monroe, who you may know from the movies It Follows and Independence Day, Regurgence or Resurgence, or whatever the hell it was called. No, I don't remember that one either. So yeah, Maika is the lead of this movie. She plays a character called Julia. Excuse me, I've got notes here because I've had to rush this one. And she moves to Bucharest to support her husband, Francis, and he's played by Carl Glusman, I hope I've pronounced that right. And he's had to go there for his job. So previously they were living in New York, and she's had to uproot, come to Bucharest, and he goes off and does his job every day, works long hours, and she's left in this great big apartment building all on her own. And it's while she's wandering around this apartment building, very bored, looking around, that she happens to glance out the window. And the window isn't a very good view, to be honest with you. I mean, I would basically up sticks and move to a better apartment, because you're looking out directly onto another building. And in that other building, she happens to glance across the windows, and as she looks up to her left, top left, there's somebody stood against the window watching her, or appears to be watching her. Initially, I thought they might pull a trick and it might just be a mannequin in the window, but it is actually somebody stood there watching her. So she kind of glances back every now and again and gets a little bit unnerved by all this, and she goes about her business. Her and Francis go out one evening, and while they're out, they see the police surrounding a building, and they wonder what the hell's going on. And it turns out a young woman has been decapitated by a serial killer in the area known as the Spider. No relation. So anyway, that unnerves her a little bit further, and she begins to keep an eye on this guy in the window, and she's wondering if he's actually looking at her or not. She begins to doubt whether she's been a little bit, what's the word, overcautious or something. So she raises her hand up and wonders if he'll wave back, and she lowers it down and he doesn't do anything, and then after a moment he raises that hand up, and then she knows absolutely that he is looking at her. She goes to the cinema one day, and she finds that he's in the cinema with her, and then she finds that he follows her to a supermarket. So she's getting suspicious of this guy the whole way along, and she tells her husband, Francis, and of course he doesn't believe, oh, maybe he's not really looking at you, maybe he's just coincidence that he's in the same place at the same time. And it begins to kind of blow out like that, really. But, you know, there's this level of suspense the whole way through. Is this guy looking at her? Is he not looking at her? And it does kind of end with a kind of predictable conclusion, but I thought it was a very good film. What I liked about it, it gave me those 1970s vibes. It kind of reminded me very much of, actually, of probably some earlier films. It reminded me, first of all, without looking out the window, of Rear Window, obviously the famous Hitchcock movie starring James Stewart. Maybe a little bit of Disturbia. Do you remember that one with Shia LaBeouf, when he's got the neighbour that he's suspicious of? And you get vibes of that from this movie. What you also get from this movie is a very 1970s kind of gritty feel, which I really enjoyed actually. It really made me feel like this movie could have been lifted from the 1970s out to modern day. And that's because of some of the slow build. It's a very, very slow build for this film. So if you go and see this movie, please, you know, feel free to come back to me and say, oh, Mancini, that was boring, it was such a boring film. I understand, but it is a slow build. And it's worth it at the end, because you really get to stick with Maika Monroe, and you get to emphasise with the character Julia. And you get to feel what she's feeling, because there's this long process of her just being left on her own. All of Francis's mates are Romanian, and when they talk together, they talk in Romanian and leave her out. And I thought that was a really good thing to do. There's no subtitles on the screen, you don't know what they're saying, so we're put in the exact position that that Julia is in that we don't know what they're saying, we don't know whether they're talking about her, whether they're mocking her, and sometimes they are. And she feels absolutely isolated, and I thought that was a really good thing to put into this movie, the fact that they didn't put these subtitles up, the fact that they didn't let you know what the other people were saying, so that you could feel as isolated as Julia was. Like I said, somewhat predictable ending, but I really enjoyed it. I liked where it went in the end. I liked the way they built it up. And yeah, I really did enjoy this film. I think it's probably going to be one of my top films of the year. Like I say, it's not for everybody. I don't think everybody will enjoy this. I don't think. I think if you don't like a slow burn, it's a very, very slow burn. If you don't like a slow burn movie, you're probably not going to like this. But if you're an appreciator of cinema, as I am, loving the films of Alfred Hitchcock, loving the films of the 70s like Rosemary's Baby. Rosemary's Baby is another one that's one very much reminds me of because of the isolation. Imagine Rosemary being in the middle and all the people in her apartment block being a bit weird around her. It's very much like that as well. So those were the vibes I was getting from it, kind of a Rear Window, Rosemary's Baby, Disturbia kind of crossover. So yeah, like I say, I don't think it's going to be for everybody. I appreciated it. I know that some other film scholars will appreciate it as well. If you can find a cinema that showed it, like I said, I'm a bit annoyed that our local cinema trailed it for a while and then didn't show it. Please go and watch Watcher, starring Maika Monroe. Yeah, it's a really good film. So let's move on. I'm going to have a little bit of a moan about this really, because how many times have you guys been to the cinema and you've seen a trailer and you think that looks really great, and they build it up weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're looking at the release date and the release date's on the trailer and it's on the poster. They even get the posters in the lobby, and then that movie never opens. It kind of just vanishes. So I understand in the recent circumstances that some movies were built up and then they went straight to streaming and stuff like that because of, you know what, we don't talk about that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times now in recent months as well that a movie will be trailed. Like one I've spoken to you guys about before, like Barbarian, for instance. Barbarian is a great film. We saw it at Fright Fest. Fantastic horror film. It really should have had a big promotion. Our Odeon didn't show it. It did show at other local cinemas, which are further afield. But I mean, they're showing films at our Odeon which should have been taken off a long time ago. I reviewed Smile, I think for you guys, about a month ago. Smile is still showing at my local Odeon. Ticket to Paradise, released same week as Smile, still showing at our local Odeon. Minions, DC Super Pets, all these old films clogging up screens when we could be getting unique gems like Barbarian, like Watcher. So why is that? I mean, does that annoy you guys as much as it annoys me? It really does annoy me. I mean, you know, we got a Limitless card, so we've been caning our Limitless card this year with the Bond movies, and we really enjoy going down to our local cinema, getting to know the staff, getting to chat with them. This is not their fault. The staff are absolutely lovely down at our local Odeon. They're, you know, the best of the bunch. But because our Odeon isn't showing these films, we've been forced to go further afield. We've been forced to go to another brand of cinema. So come on, Odeon, buck your ideas up. Let's have some of the new releases. Let's have some of the unique ones. Let's have Barbarian. You know, let's have Watcher and stuff like that. Instead of you keep repeating things like Ticket to Paradise and Smile that have basically outstayed their welcome. They've been around for a long, long time now. So let's move those ones on. I mean, Top Gun as well. Top Gun stuck around for months and months and months. It's even out on disc now, and some cinemas are still showing it. So that should have been moved on ages ago. You know, people would have had their chance to see it. Let's get some of these other films, some of these smaller independent films into cinemas where they can have a chance. Whereas I feel they're being swept out of the way by the bigger movies. I mean, obviously at the moment Black Adam is the big film. Black Adam is occupying so many screens at so many cinemas that these little independent movies or the smaller movies aren't getting a chance. So come on, you know, distributors or whoever's managing this, I don't know if it's Odeon managers or cinema managers in general, let's move these older films on a lot quicker. Let's give the independents a chance. These people need a chance to grow and be great filmmakers as well. And if their work's not being seen, how are they going to achieve that? Come on. Anyway, enough of a moan. This one's going to be a brief one this week. Because literally there's nothing else to see at the cinema apart from those films I just mentioned. If you've enjoyed this video, despite me having a bit of a rant, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Please come and have a chat with me in the notifications bar. Sorry, what am I talking about? Hit the notification bell. Come and have a chat with me down in the comments. That's where you have a chat, isn't it? Come and have a chat with me down in the comments. Let me know what you think about cinemas showing only big films and shunting these little independent films out of the way. Because I think the smaller films deserve a bigger chance. So, yeah, let me know how you feel. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you all soon.